Party popper. Let's rock and roll. Okay, account mapping. This is the new layout. Who here does not have the new layout? I'm kind of just curious. I feel like I'm seeing it pretty much across the board now. Anybody not have it? Do you have it in the over in Europe, Jer and Dimitri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
that was
cool.
this week.
Okay, very cool. Actually, I feel like Jerry gets features before we do. I'm not sure about you, Dimitri, just because I see you less. But okay, so this is the new layout. There's a few different things going on here that's new. I don't want to dig into these other data points right now, mostly just account mapping. So what I want to do is talk about this in two stages. Number one, kind of just how it works. And then number two, use cases where people would actually care about using it, right? So how it works, this is more like a visual representation of the org chart, and you can customize it. So let's just do this. Here we have account map. This is the map on the left. Over here, these are people. And then you have here, there are two tabs. There's recommended leads, where this is LinkedIn saying, hey, we think based on the company data and what you do on LinkedIn, we think that these are people that you might want to add over here. Or if they're not in here and you want to add them, you can't like search for someone and then add them. You would have to search for them, save them, and then add them. So if you want to do it like an ad hoc thing and they're not already in recommended, you have to save them first. Make sense? Account map, you see there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And then these all right now, PS, these are recommended, and we'll save them in just a minute. So I haven't done anything. This is all just, they've filled that out for me. So you have 3 tiers, tier 1, 2, 3, account map, and then they give you a breakdown here. So they're saying tier 1, what they're doing by default. That doesn't mean you have to stick with this, but by default, tier 1 is going to be C-suite and other decision makers. Tier 2, which is right here, is managers or other champions. Sorry, I just think that's kind of funny. Tier 3, individual contributors or users. All right, so this is just your typical org chart, but you don't need to stick with C-suite, senior leadership team contributors if your target audience doesn't have if that doesn't make sense. You don't have to stick to it, right? Maybe you are specifically like I'm trying to think of an example. Like maybe at the top is actually senior leadership team because you never want to talk to them. Like maybe you never want to talk to the CEO and founder of Coca-Cola. Like maybe you're not that big of a deal. Tom's probably that big of a deal. I'm not that big of a deal, right? So if you are never going to ever worry about prospecting the CEO of a huge company, maybe it doesn't make sense for you to put them at the top tier, right? So maybe the highest you'd ever go is a director or a VP. So you could do whatever you want with it, right? So whatever you want to do, these are just the defaults. All right, so if we go here, if I hover, you can kind of see, and I'm not sure if they'll change the UI here. When I hover over Andrew, you can see that he's hovering over, it's highlighting both places. And then I can go save or save. So let's do Seth. So actually I'll do this first. I'm going to save Seth, recommended tier 1. Actually, let's do this. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see how accurate this is, LinkedIn. Seth is a chief executive officer at Coca-Cola Coastal Bottlers. So that looks accurate. What's going on here with B Perez?
Isaac, when you go to save them, it's not adding them to a lead list. It's just dumping them in the.
Let's find out. Let's find out, Mike.
I didn't ask you for a list, so I want to find out.
I haven't saved them yet. So you can save them from their profile page if you want to dig into it a little bit, or you can save them from right here. So Mike's ask a good question. I just want to see if this is their guessing is accurate. C-suite or other decision makers. So yes, and senior VP, sure. I could see that being tier 1. Yeah, I would call it tier 1. So let's do here for Seth. Let's save Seth. And then it did not add it by default to a list. That's really important, right? So if you are doing ABM or not, you'll want to add someone to a list. So here, I can change tiers. I cannot add them to a list. So what might be smarter to do either before or at the same time to add him to a list where you go, add to a list, example list. right? Let's see if it changes if we save it from the other side. So let's go to B. Save as, what's this here? Save, connect, save as lead. All right, so it saved it. No lead list capabilities on the account page, Mike.
Yep.
Let's do this here. I'm going to.
You and I are always killing those orphans out there, and we're making orphans here, right?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, because for all of you who are familiar with the term, what happens is you have your list of total saved people, and then you have those total saved people can be added to individual lists. And if you just click save lead, they're going to be added to your big, huge bucket of saved leads. And a lot of people rely on lists in their prospecting to be able to track KPIs, keep track of where people are, organize your efforts. And since that's not baked in here natively, you're going to have a bunch of people saved, and it's going to count against your total saved. And it's really easy for someone to fall through the cracks.
You almost have to go in and add them to a list afterwards. If you're going to do this activity, take another whole top-down approach and just go, add to list, add to list, add to list, add to list. That's a really big weakness there, Isaac. That's a
I would agree.
Truckload size hole.
I would agree. It might be easier if you feel like this is correct. Let's see here. Let's check out Andrew and Danielle. It might be better practice to go like this first. Make sure it's accurate.
Save it from their profile instead.
Yeah, so it looks like
that's right, Isaac.
A digital consultant. I actually would say Andrew is definitely not a tier 2. Andrew's tier 3, right? Because he's a digital consultant. Definitely not tier 2. So wrong guess. But let's say we wanted to do this the right way. It'd probably be smarter to go save and then add them to a list.
There you go.
We go over here, and it's look at that. It did it right away. So you know how you used to have to refresh? So now you don't have to refresh. That's really nice.
Real time. That's nice.
Yep, that's really nice. So now he's on a list. We can move him around.
So it's only a couple more clicks to do it right. You just can't. The save from here is we just go to the profile, save, pick a list, and close out the window and come back. Just a few more clicks.
Yep, and these are people that we've saved already. They were already in there. But if, for example, if we go here, let's jump over to the all employees and just save a random person. We might go all employees. Let's do Bo, demo, and then we'll go over here. Looks like we do need to refresh. Okay. Save leads. Here's Bo. So we've saved him. We didn't add him to a list, but we can add to map. Looks like he went to tier 1 by default, and he'd probably be more of a tier 2, right? So that's kind of functionally how it works. The value that I see here is it's kind of minimal. No, like I joke, but I feel like actually before we jump into application and when you would use it, who would use it, any questions or thoughts you think you want me to do or mess around with here before we move ahead? Yep, go ahead, Judy.
One is a checkbox in the right there, confirm all.
Oh yes.
What is that? Is that once you not up there? Go. Oh,
I was moving your faces on my screen.
So what does that mean? That means after you rearrange the tiers, you confirm them?
Yeah, you can lock them in.
This is recommended.
Right.
This is, I'm assuming, and we can do it live here. I'm assuming that when I confirm all, it's going to solidify everything that's recommended to confirm. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Dwing. Dun, 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 dun.
And then second question is,
Yep.
is this what they're trying to give you, this AI intelligence based on your account preferences that you set up in Navigator? So when you create your account, you have your sales preferences. Right?
It does say here, that's a good question. I don't have a perfect answer. I do have two kind of thoughts. So thought number one is just from what they say here. They say saved leads or recommendations that are most relevant for you based on your LinkedIn activity. So it does seem like they're pulling some of your personal preferences to build this. And then secondly, they've got to be relying on just the internal data that someone has on their profile, like decision, like, you know, what their title is. And like, for example, if I go here to, actually, if I go to decision makers,
Mhm.
like them building this out they've got to be pulling from here as well. So I think Judy, my gut would have said it's strictly these data points, but because they say it here, it makes me think that they're looking at your preferences as well. I don't
Yeah,
know what that
wonder,
is, but
like, if I were using it to prospect and I'm looking at, for one outreach CTOs and another outreach CMOs, but are they always going to just assume that CEO is going to be on tier one and say, I don't want to connect with the CEO?
yep.
So yeah, that's why I wonder if your preferences, have you set your preferences on this?
I don't think I have any saved sales preferences, but I can check real quick here. So what Judy is talking about is right here.
Yeah, you don't have them set. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if that would inform, and also when they say LinkedIn, are they talking about just on Navigator, or are they talking about, because this is still redirecting to the sales?
Yeah, I don't know. They leave it kind of vague. I don't know, Judy. It's probably a combination of, so saved leads you can see is right here. So if you've saved someone, they're saying, all right, they're showing a seller's intent. They've saved that person. That's going to be, and then the thing that's fuzzy is recommendations that are most relevant based on your LinkedIn activity. I don't know if that's first degree connections, content engagement, messaging. I have no idea. Profile views, not sure. I am not sure. But yeah, anybody want to see anything else before we talk about use cases, about where this would be helpful? All right, use cases.
Can you refresh the page?
Sure.
For 1 moment.
Yep.
Yeah. When you confirm them all,
Mm-hmm.
it puts them all in your saved leads.
Oh yeah, I suppose. So they have to be saved to be added to a tier. That's a good point, Jared. So if you do click confirm all, that is also going to save everybody, and they are not going to be added to a lead list, Mike, which is what you brought up earlier as well. That is a really great thing to be aware of. Really important. So if you're prospecting them and you're adding them to lists to keep track of your efforts, you'll have to go in here and clean it up.
It's chronological though, so you can look at the most recently saved list and kind of work from the top down. It isn't like just randomized when you go to pull your leads when you look at lead lists. There, not lists, just raw leads.
Yeah, and it looks like you're going to max out at about 16, maybe. Let's do this. Let's just see what the max is. 4.
It also doesn't tell you what degree your connection is with the person, so you don't know yet if you're connected with them.
Oh, look, it does say right here.
No, there it says it, but when you're looking at these little tiers, it doesn't say.
Yeah, that's a miss. How did they miss that?
Who knows? Maybe it's coming later, or maybe there's a reason. But you can actually.
Maybe no one even thought of it. It's more likely.
Oh, I don't know. So we
got it on the left, but not on the right. Why would that be? Come on.
So this is the maximum 10 leads in the tier, so it's 10 leads per tier.
10 leads per tier. So the max that you'd have to do cleanup on is going to be 30.
Interesting.
Good to know. Good to know.
And by the way, nobody spoke about the outage last week. I don't think we had that.
I did. I had it in an email.
You did? Okay. Yeah. Cause I don't know if like this kind of stuff impacted, were they doing an interface refresh that took,
I don't know.
Down? Cause this is new. This is new. Like what, this week? I just noticed it last week.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's related. I saw this first probably 3 weeks ago, but it was only on maybe 10% of accounts. So, let's see. So let's talk about use case here before everyone has to head out. I feel like it really depends on your company, what you're selling in your sales strategy. I feel like if you're not doing account-based marketing then this has minimal value. No surprise there. I mean, it's an account map. But if you are selling something that justifies the time for you to focus on, 20 companies at a time, then I think that this could be helpful for a number of reasons. Like number one would be like, you don't know maybe necessarily what the actual hierarchy is until you talk to people. So you might target, like maybe we're talking to Simon here, and we think he's up here, but he's like, you know what? Actually, I'm not a decision maker. You need to talk to someone else. So we'd say, oh, well, that's good to know. So we're just going to drag Simon down here. And then Simon might say, who you really need to talk to is Brian Sappington. So we'd say, oh, that's who we need to target. Let's add Brian to map. And then now he's part of our efforts, right? So you can only go so far from public data and what people added to the profile. You talk to people, they give you internal information, and you can visualize it here. And you can say, all right, we talked to Brandon. Turns out he's actually not tier 2, he's tier 3. So we want to focus more heavily on this tier here, and then eventually focus more heavily on tier 1. And then after talking to people via messaging or whatever, we actually know definitively what's accurate, so that we can, whatever your sales strategy is, do what you got to do there. Could be smart links, emails, phone calls, whatever. But again, I feel like this is only helpful if you as the seller are focusing on such a small handful of accounts where you would actually come back to this page and view this, and from here, kind of like a launch pad, from here, do your actions, right? Any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on when you would use this in marketing and sales? No, not sure.
I'd like to hear how this works with Salesforce and stuff to take this and get this information into Salesforce and show hierarchy over there. Since we have somebody from Salesforce here, we should ask that question, huh, Tom? What you see how this could interface with Salesforce and some way there?
Yes. Not that we see Microsoft as a competitor, more of a way of leveraging data, but we both have our own repositories, if you will, of information. Mm-hmm. How LinkedIn does things and how we do things at Salesforce is a little bit different. We use a lot of the AI capabilities of bringing the data together and mapping. Interestingly enough, if you look at the Salesforce code base, the Salesforce capabilities we offer, we probably have a 20-time increase in our third-party vendors that will actually link Salesforce with LinkedIn, aggregate the data together, and bring it into a Salesforce format where we more use our AI capabilities to take advantage of features like this.
Yeah, I could see there being two or three use cases here too. Now that you say that, Tom and Mike, number one would be, and I don't know if this is built out yet, but if you're doing paid ads on LinkedIn and you know for sure that you want to do paid ads to tier 1, tier 2, I feel like that would be just so narrow and perfect, right? That would be awesome. Scenario 2 would be if you're wanting to directly do a handshake with them. So you take the initiative to talk to them. And then scenario 3 would be if you want the data to leave LinkedIn and go into your CRM or whatever else you're using.
That's what we want. Yeah. That's what we want.
Yeah, interesting.
Just to have this right here dumped into Salesforce. That's what you want. Here's my account map on LinkedIn. Now push a button and push it on into Salesforce. It'll match up the companies easily because they're the company here already. I mean, I would see that being a logical extension to what happens next with this product.
Yeah, we basically do a lot of aggregation of data and pulling data together, and a lot of our third-party companies will actually go out and scrape the data, if you will, from LinkedIn, pull it into an aggregate. And within Salesforce, we use our AI views and our capabilities to create that strong foundation with our customers, as well as demographic advertising and direct connection to each of the folks out there where we're going to map to a tier 1, tier 2 structure.
I have not looked at what this does in Teams. So Mike, or I can actually probably check this later, but I would like to know if when you save these tiers, if it's shared with your team, because one thing that would be nice is just to, if somebody that if a coworker already figured these tiers out, it would just be nice to know who to actually talk to, right? That would be kind of nice.
You have to save them to your own lead list, then you can share your lead list, but there's not that much sophistication. Have you done much with lead list sharing with Teams, Isaac? I did a little bit of it, and it didn't go real well.
Yeah, not a whole lot. More like if you're not wanting anyone to cross wires, so you can use one account to create a list and then exclude saved and then share.
Yeah, circle slash it. Yeah, that's what we were doing. It was quite a jack around to do that, but
so would
we
be
No, I think one of the things about Teams, and before joining Salesforce, I did have 30,000 licenses of Teams that I used within our ecosystem. Salesforce just recently bought Slack, $27 billion, but we are looking at the collaboration tools and bringing those in, effectively utilizing our artificial intelligence capabilities. Teams doesn't really have a lot of artificial intelligence capabilities. Actually, I can say that. I can't talk negatively about some of our competition, but I can say that our artificial intelligence capabilities you have to do a lot of footwork and groundwork, if you will, by gluing things together, bringing things into Teams, and it is a manually driven process. You will spend a lot of ground footwork in just getting things set up, number one. And secondly, at the end of the day, you are the developer, you are the creator, you are the one who is brainstorming your ideas, versus going to some place like Salesforce. We create the views, we create the AI. You just tell us what you want. We go out and grab the data and glue it together. And now on top of that, we're incorporating Slack as a solution within our structure. And we'll be offering that at a basically get it for free if you're a Salesforce customer interaction.
Yeah, that's really cool. I wonder if what LinkedIn is doing here, beyond just helping you help yourself, I wonder if they're also going to take this information and use it to be smarter, right? Because when you go up here and you go to decision makers, they're relying on just really, I think, just profile information, right?
Exactly.
And
exactly. There's not a lot of depth of understanding your customer, and really not only coming through the profiles, but coming through what are some of the articles about the company? Who has been the decision makers in the last 5-10 years? What information you want to learn about that end customer? How long has that VP been in the organization? Is he someone that started there 20 years ago? Or is he someone that's been there 1 year? And who is his outlay of the demographics within the organization as a whole? And you can find those things out quickly. Sometimes making a connection or cold call to an executive VP position, you actually may want to start a senior manager director level and know that that person is an influencer of the VP and EVP.
Yep.
You're not going to get that from LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the best that you could do is make assumptions based off titles, and then by those assumptions and those titles, put them into tiers. And then after you actually talk to them, build this out, make it more accurate, right? I think that's the only way, this is the only way forward with this interface.
And again, it puts a lot of legwork on you individually. Again, that's great if you're doing a target of 1, 2, 3, 5 different customers. But if you're more expanding your base and looking for a lot of different disruptive and distributed customers, you are going to have to do a lot of legwork.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like to justify that amount of work, your sale value has to be really high here. Like we work with a couple of companies where their sale value is going to be in the millions. And if it's also like a year-long process. So in that scenario, if there's only 20, 50 companies that can buy your product, then I could see it being worth the time here. There may be better solutions than this, but I think that your sale value to be able to use this has to be really high. Any thoughts on that? I don't have a dollar figure in mind, but probably beyond 50,000. I mean,
Yeah,
but
I would say unless you're a developer and you're writing programs and algorithms, you could create a generic algorithm, or you could go out and hire someone to create an algorithm for you to start combing the net and getting an idea of how all this information intrinsically connects together. But if you're not a developer and you don't have the resources to create that footprint, a lot of manual legwork.
yep.
It's not for the feeble or someone that's not willing to spend probably 16 hours a day awake on this solution every day for months.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like this feature is mostly going to be used by companies that have a long sales cycle, probably plus $1 million per sale, and their sales account managers are focusing on probably like not more than 100 accounts. I feel like otherwise it wouldn't be worth the time that you would need to sink into working with this. Again, not that that's bad, because there are a lot of companies that sell that. But if you are here in like your service provider and you typically sell to, like, I don't know, small to mid-sized businesses, you probably won't really use the account map feature, right? But if you're working with a client and they're selling something very expensive to like 50, 100 companies, could be something you use. Any further thoughts on that? All right.
It's really interesting, but I don't have any clients that are going to use this. I find it fascinating, though. But I just don't have anyone who's going to use this. Pretty
Yeah.
useful, and for some folks, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah, like we did some stuff where the target account was like Nestle and Pepsi. This wasn't available, and we kind of more relied on doing a person search by title and did our efforts there. I don't know. I've never used this, so I don't have any definitive like experience, but I don't know if this would be more appealing to me or not.
That's the seniority level filter is probably pretty useful here. In addition to title, if you're trying to get C-suite, one of the options right there.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to pull the account map data on here anywhere. I don't see it anywhere. Again, they might. I feel like they're going to use this. I feel like they're also crowdsourcing their data accuracy, so they might make a guess on decision makers and be missing 20% of people. And then if you've got a lot of people using this, then they could probably go, oh, we're seeing all these people in tier 1 for Coca-Cola. We should maybe include them with decision makers. I wouldn't be surprised if that was an angle too.
You're rather generous with your predictions there. I don't think LinkedIn has the smarts to do some of these things that we talked about. They would already be in this product. Some of these dumping that whole bit off to Salesforce would be a no-brainer here. Just can't think of a more obvious extension to this.
I'm curious to know what happens when somebody changes jobs as well, right? What if Ian gets laid off? I wonder what happens in here. I would want to know, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
In Salesforce, depending on the level of position, We are constantly using our artificial intelligence to go out and comb for data on each and every customer in your customer contact area. If the person's in a high enough position, let's say director, executive director, VP, or CEO, or the C-level executives, we go out and look for so-and-so has left the company. Similar to if you go out and use Yelp, when a business closes, someone posts saying, hey, the business is no longer in business. Yelp will almost instantly say, this business is closed. So we do the same thing. We know when the contact goes cold based upon the information that we find by scraping the dark data of the internet and finding those hidden nuggets where the individual may have left the company.
Yeah. And you could make it a practice to go to alerts for your leads, and then the alert type being career changes. And then you go through and do this manually. I'm just not sure if they would notify you if you were visiting this page or not. Not sure. It would
Well,
just be
that's another thing. One of the things that I think happens with LinkedIn when you have contacts and information, when you're cloud-based, if you have 20,000 customers that have that business as a end customer, if you get 2, 3, 5 reports from other customers saying, oh, Joe has left the company, you're going to replicate that out to your other customers that use your cloud solution and just say, oh, this person has left the company. So other customers within your ecosystem are not following suit in that footprint as well.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you share data amongst a lot of different customers that we have, if you will, on the back end, but we don't share data. We basically say, oh, this person is no longer with the company. And we capture that as well as some of the dark data in the cloud.
You know, one thing that I had read on a product release, I feel like it was maybe into last year, related to what we're talking about between LinkedIn and Salesforce. When you have a saved lead that you have done a sync with Salesforce, and then they get a career change, you're notified. I think you're notified in Salesforce now, right? Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
You can be notified. You can turn on different things, such as someone gets promoted or change in job aspects. You can basically, it's more of a menu pick in your dashboards for each of the different companies. But you will be notified if you turn on that feature, follow my contacts.
Right. Yeah, because it's very common, you know, if it's a long sales cycle, if someone gets let go, if they get a different job, you need the sale to move forward. Who's taking them over, you know, to be able to move it forward. That's very helpful, because if they leave the company, they don't have their work email anymore. What do you do?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, maybe that's helpful for where the grouping people together by tier is helpful, right? If these people all have similar sway in the decision-making process, maybe they're looped into the buying process, maybe not. If Simon leaves and you're notified, and he was your main point of contact for your proposal, your contract that's out, Simon's gone, and you're like, oh, who do I talk to? If you didn't have a group email thread going with these guys, then maybe you go, who were Simon's counterparts? These 3 people, let me just send them a message or an email or whatever, and try to pick it back up again. But you need to know that Simon's gone, right? You might just think that he's giving you maybe you think he's ghosting you, but he might have got a different job. Instead of having to rely on checking to see if he's still employed, getting that notification would help you be proactive. So
great. I got to hop off to a 9 o'clock meeting, but great discussions.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, Tom. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Isaac, is that something that can be set in alerts?
Good question. Are you talking about these alerts?
No, go back one page.
Are you talking about the alerts like in your account settings where you're sent emails?
Yeah, on the previous page, there were people, insights, and alerts. There were 3 buttons.
So you're not talking about these, or are you? Or these are the actual alerts that you'd see on the front page, on the homepage. So what can you tell me, let's see here.
You go back to the account map on the company page. There's a button,
Employees have been moving from saved, mentioned in the news. These are the lead alerts. A lead started a position at a new company. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know if that's the trigger.
Also, I see 2 potential lead alerts here that could achieve what you're talking about. One would be if they started a position at a new company.
No,
The other
it's
would be
referring to account alerts. It's on the company page itself, and it's just a scroll down. Yeah, there to the right. Yeah, all account alerts at the bottom.
You've got account news, new decision makers, and then account growth.
Yeah.
And then that's going to look like, you may hear the tornado sirens here. They're doing a test.
Yeah.
Let's see. It looks like they're, what exactly were you looking for, Jer? Sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering if somebody leaves that you can put that in as an alert, that you get a pop-up or a message on your email that the person you're interested in, that the lead has left the company.
Gotcha. This might be helpful. Then in email preferences, could these
Change
2?
those.
Yeah, these 2 would probably do it. Yeah, that's probably it. Lead change jobs, lead change roles. And they will have had to have already been saved for that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I'm just curious what happens in here when people, well, like when that happens. Like, do I have to manually do stuff, or is it going to give me a notification? Like, and I'm sure that there's still development going on, but it'd be great if there was something that said like, John recently changed jobs, like review, to re-review. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we are past the hour.